Make some noise. Hadithi.
Evening, everyone. Mind matters, right? So, about 2 years ago, I was in my office, right? And yeah, we all get to that point where you're about to fall off to sleep. You're doing this, but because there's not much, you're just pushing paper. And I get a WhatsApp text. It's my friend, and I get a, babe, I'm in hospital. Like, okay, so I start panicking, right? And all the boredom just flew away. Like, now I'm in a panic. It's around 12 o'clock, and I'm like, 5, guys, when is 5? I need to go see my friend, not even thinking about visitation hours or whatnot. All I needed to do was go to hospital to see her. And she's not saying much. She's no longer answering her phone. So the next best thing was to call her boyfriend. Fortunately, we were those friends, So if I can't get a hold of her, I get a hold of her boyfriend. It was as simple as that. So I called her boyfriend and I'm like, where is my friend? She says she's in hospital. And he's like, no, Oko Livingston. And I'm like, okay, can you come fetch me? I don't know how to get there. All my life in PE, all my 4 years in PE, I've never been to Livingston. So she's like, then he's like, okay, no, I'll come after Ochaisa. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll leave early even on that particular day. So there I am. Now I'm panicking. So this friend of mine, I had met her about, I think it would be 6 months to a year prior to the hospital incident. But she is that friend that I fell in love with her, like instantly. I met her, she introduced herself, and we said we are friends. Okay, I think it's a thing that I do, but anyway, I said we are friends, and we became friends. So now she was a person who, she is in fact a person who is always there for you. I suffer from, at times, self-diagnosed, but I feel like it's a thing for me. I suffer from anxiety, a lot of anxiety and self-doubt, right? So I would, especially let's say during exam periods, and I would then call her and be like, yo babe, like I can't cope, I can't handle this life thing. And we lived about 5 minutes away from each other. She would walk from the beaches to Granton Heights to just make sure that I'm okay. So with that person who is so selfless, who's so self-giving with her time and entertaining me, my issues, the moment when she is crying out for help or she is in pain, I'm then worried to say, girl, what's happening? Like, I can't lose you basically because you're my pillar of strength. So with all of that, for me, mental illness is all about anxiety and depressed and growing up in a family where no child can have depression. You're too young to have depression. That thing is for old people. Also white people, or when someone else outside is diagnosed of mental illness, no, they're just crazy, So it's one of those moments. For me, it took time to even introduce the whole concept of anxiety at home. But yeah, that was that's my foundation of what mental illness was, So it's 4:30. Get out, told my boss, like, I just have an emergency, I have to go to campus. You have to lie sometimes. I have to go to campus. My lecturer called me in quickly, and then as soon as I walked out, the boyfriend is outside. Then we drive through to Livingston. When we get to Livingston, he knows she was with her the whole day. So we just walk there, and like in hospitals, there's a hospital walk. I don't know if anyone's seen it. There's a hospital, right? There is a hospital walk. So we are doing the hospital walk. We get to her. So I get there, she's fine. Like, you're not hurt, you're not sick. So what's happening? Because I don't, for me, for someone being in hospital, it's either you're injured or I can it's written in your face that you're sick. But with her, it's something different. Like, she's okay, she's having a conversation. And I then ask him, like, babe, what's up? And she's like, no, I came to the hospital for them to give me medication. And then she started crying. Okay, what medication? Because I don't know her to be a sickly person. And she's like, the only problem is that they don't want to change my medication without admitting me. I'm like, okay, so let them admit you so you can get your medication, so you can be fine. And she's like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, make me understand. Then she then goes to tell me that she has bipolar. And with us at home, conversations at home, you know, when someone has bipolar, they're crazy because they have two personalities. You know, that's the image that we have about mental illness. There's always a negative stigma around it. And she then confesses to say on that particular day she was feeling suicidal because they changed her medication, so it was not adjusting well with her body, and she wanted to get help. But the problem is she does not want to go into the psych ward, because if she has to go into a psych ward, then they have to admit her for 30 days up until they re-diagnose her or whatever the case may be with her. And she is certain in her way, saying that, but I know my problem. This is someone who then just became vulnerable to me to say that they're not well, but at the same time she is still strong in her positioning, you know. And for me at that moment, I was like, okay girl, like, just go in and come out. Remember, I don't understand, I don't know. I'm coming from a point of, let's do this so we don't fight with the nurses, so we can go home. Well, there we are fighting with the nurses. It ended up like that. We're fighting with the nurses, and for me it was a out of body, out of mind experience, because firstly, I've never been that grown up to fight with nurses, and now I am doing this. I am shocked. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to react, because this is someone who's always there for me when she is going through hard times. I mean, when I'm going through hard times. So for me, I couldn't wrap my head around it to say, Pontsho, what do you do for a friend who is in this situation, you know? But at that moment, because I remember I called home, my mom calls me every night. So at that moment, she calls while we're still in the hospital. She's asking me, Pontsho, where are you? I'm like, no, I'm just at the hospital, I'll call you later. She says, what are you doing in the hospital? I'm like, my friend she's in hospital. She knows she knows her, and she has bipolar. My mom's like, so wakafa? I'm like, no, that's not what it is. You know, it's then I explained it, because now I'm faced with, I needed to understand it myself. So I needed to educate them. And for me, that was a point where I got to say, it's so important for us as people to get to understand mental illness, because it's the strongest people that we see on our walking down the street every single day, who suffer from such, I don't even say such, like it seems, you know, who suffer from illnesses, who suffer from not being able to handle their problems. And that on that particular day, through Babe, we still call each other Babe, through Babe, I I learned to accept, you know, to not take people for granted, because she's the strong one but at the same time, she was the one who needed more help than I did. So that is my story regarding mind matters. So, and I will still say mind matters, because I got to a point where my strongest friend was the one who needed help the most. So, ladies and gentlemen, mind matters. Thank you.